Meet Deja Taylor, a nice enough lady who had the misfortune of raising a son who was, to say the least, a little rambunctious. He decided to take his mother's gun and go to school and shoot his teacher. Naturally, everyone was livid. How could this happen? Well, the left has identified the real culprit in this. The person that they say should spend years behind bars. Is it the mother? No. What about the father? Not exactly. What about the little shit that pulled the trigger? Nope. It's Wendy Rittenhouse. That's right, Wendy Rittenhouse. She should pay. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With cold, blunt analysis, cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
All right, take her away.
Back here at home, the mother of a 6-year-old boy who shot his teacher earlier this year in Newport News, Virginia, was sentenced to 2 years in prison today for felony child neglect. Deja Taylor pleaded guilty to the charge and apologized to the teacher. Her son told investigators he took the gun from his mother's purse. The teacher is suing the school district for $40 million.
Some time ago, the mother and father were interviewed by ABC. Here's what they had to say.
Now to an ABC News exclusive with the mother of the Virginia 6-year-old who shot his teacher. She is speaking out about it for the first time after a Virginia grand jury indicted and charged her with child neglect and failing to secure her son. Our Lindsay Davis spoke with that mom and her grandfather, who now has custody of the 6-year-old. She says she wants people to know she's a good mom.
While school shootings in the U.S. are no longer a rarity, what happened at this Virginia elementary school in January was shocking. The shooter was only 6 years old. The victim, his 25-year-old teacher, Abigail Werner, despite being shot.
Also affectionately known as the bitch, at least according to the 6-year-old.
She managed to get all of her students to safety.
Female victim, she's been shot in the abdomen as well as a through and through into the hand.
The fact that she got her kids to safety is pretty commendable. I mean, that's amazing. She deserves a lot of credit for that.
Amid the ongoing criminal and civil cases, the family of the first grader who shot his teacher has remained quiet until now.
Does he talk about the incident?
No. We talk, we play, we, do Uno, draw pictures, like nothing of the incident.
I mean, yeah, why bother the kid with those little pesky details about him shooting his teacher? No, let's play Uno. Maybe some poker. A little game of pool, maybe? But let's not talk about the shooting.
Deja Taylor says she was stunned on January 6th when she got a phone call that there had been a shooting at her child's school.
I wasn't even able to get dressed. I ran out in PJs to the school.
Has he processed the magnitude of what happened?
Well, in my opinion, he processes the events leading up to it. He talks a lot more about the day before.
In other words, he talks a lot about why that bitch deserved it.
Or the 2 days before than he does about January 6th.
Okay, not January 6th Trump deal, okay? It just happens to be that the shooting occurred also on January 6th. Calm down, everybody.
Released a statement shortly after the incident, and I just want to quote it. You said, "Our son suffers from an acute disability and was under a care plan at the school that included his mother or father attending school with him and accompanying him to class every day. The week of the shooting was the first week when we were not in class with him." What can you tell us specifically about your son's disability?
And by the way, are there any kids out there who do not suffer from an acute disability? I mean, it just seems like every kid has something.
He has ADHD. Some are able to have it at a very mild rate, but he's off the wall, doesn't sit still, ever.
And why did the school decide that it was no longer necessary for the family to be in class?
Because we ended up working with another doctor. He had started medication and he was meeting his goals academically.
Had your son
What about his trigger discipline goals? Was he reaching those?
ever spoken like about hurting the teacher, or was there anything like any angst that he had against her?
No, he actually really liked her. I will say that week he did come home and he was talking, a lot about how he felt like he was being ignored. So he would come home and, Mom, I don't think that she was listening to me. I didn't like that. And then actually he ended up getting suspended the next day because he was in class. He was trying to tell her something. And she asked him to go sit back down. He threw his arms up. He said, fine. And when he threw his arms up, he knocked her phone out of her hand on accident. And he got suspended for that.
That's not what the teacher is saying. She said that he took the phone from her hand and threw it onto the ground. I wonder who's lying.
Zwerner did not respond to ABC News' request for comment, but in a lawsuit, she says the student slammed the cell phone on the ground so hard that it cracked and shattered. She's now filed a $40 million lawsuit against the Newport News School District and Rich Neck Elementary officials, claiming they ignored multiple warnings about the student's behavior and concerns that he had a gun. According to the suit, the child had a history of random violence and that he attacked students and teachers alike, both in and out of school.
Is that description accurate?
Whether it is or it isn't.
It is. When the lawyer says whether it is or isn't, that means it is.
The school enrolled him in September, knowing all of the past behaviors, and they also knew that he had not attended only about 2 months of kindergarten and about 2 months of pre-K.
And you say that to say that they then own the responsibility?
Absolutely. If that
Dude, nobody is going to think that a 6-year-old is going to bring a gun to campus and shoot a teacher. Give me a break. Yeah, he had some issues, sure. But you can't have the parents attending class with the kid every day for the rest of his life. No one expected that he would actually do something like this. So to say, well, the school should have known, give me a break. Well, then again, it is 2023, but all right. And people say, it's the gun's fault. No, the problem is that we have too many people, too many kids out there who are willing to do something like this. What would make a 6-year-old think that this is acceptable? Well, whatever it is that made him think that, that's the core problem that you're trying to fight. It's not the gun. There's something seriously screwed up about our kids. We have to fix that. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that the cure for that won't sit well with the left. The gun is a much easier target.
they believed all these behaviors to be true, and they should not have allowed him to be into first grade.
The school district.
Well, I mean, he's only 6 years old. So it's not like they're trying to keep Charles Manson out of the classroom. All right? He's a little kid.
Released a statement to ABC News saying it cannot release information about a student's educational record. And last month, the district filed to dismiss Werner's suit, arguing her injuries fall under workers' compensation.
Yeah, this is an OSHA deal.
The gun used in the shooting was legally purchased by Taylor. She says it was kept locked away.
How did your son access the gun?
Nobody.
Well, he pulled some of his locksmithing lawyer tricks, and he was able to pick the lock and get the gun out because, as she said, it was locked away. And we're going to find out that it wasn't.
Knows.
No one knows.
You'd have to ask him.
Have you asked him?
No, not yet. That's certainly something that will be probably brought out during litigation.
Wait a minute. You haven't asked the kid how he got the gun? Really? You're the lawyer, and you're defending a mother who's going to go to prison, maybe, and could be facing all kinds of lawsuits, and you never bother to ask the kid, how did you get the gun? I mean, if some adult walked into the house and helped him get the gun, I think I'd want to know that if I was the lawyer. Of course, the dude's lying.
Let me just ask this, and I'll direct it to you, Jimmy. Is it that no one has asked him how he got it, or you're just not ready to reveal how he got it?
We're not ready to discuss that at this point.
In other words, you were full of shit.
I am, yes, people have talked to him about that. I don't know that any adult knows exactly how he got the gun.
Was the gun locked?
Wait, the kid told you how he got the gun.
It was locked.
Let's go back. Notice how she just nods very carefully.
Was the gun locked somewhere? It was locked.
That wasn't exactly like, or, oh, hell yeah, it was locked up. No, it was, we know it wasn't locked up. It was in her purse. She had it on top of a chest of drawers, and the kid used one of the drawers to get up there to get the gun out of her purse.
In April, Taylor was charged with a felony count of child neglect and a misdemeanor count of recklessly leaving a firearm as to endanger a child. Her trial is set for August.
What was your reaction to those charges?
I am not sure. It was shocking. It still is a little shocking.
Do you feel in any way responsible for the shooting?
Yes, of course. That is my son. So I am, as a parent, obviously willing to take responsibility for him because he can't take responsibility for himself.
The idea that you could
I'll commend her for that. That's better than what you normally get.
face up to 6 years in prison, do you feel that that would be a fair penalty?
I mean, of course, I don't believe that that is fair.
In other words, I'm responsible, but not that responsible. Actually, I do kind of tend to believe that that's pretty harsh. Look, I mean, as much as you might think about how careless she is, she didn't intend for any of this to happen. It was a mistake. Careless one, yes, but still, she's not a bad person. So to send her off to prison for many years is ridiculous. I mean, come on. And the teacher didn't die. I mean, okay, so it wasn't that bad. Okay, so maybe to the teacher it was, but still.
But anything for my baby.
Do you feel that there is some racial component to it?
Absolutely. I think that
Wait, what? What? There's a racial component to this? Oh no, here we go.
if the dynamics were different, if the teacher was maybe looking like me and the student was Caucasian or another nationality, it wouldn't be as pumped up as much.
Anything that
Oh, fuck these people. Fuck them both. Give me a break. First of all, you have to admire the audacity to even ask this question. This lady's son, a black kid, went and shot a white teacher, and they're trying to turn this thing around to make it racial. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. And this whole notion somehow that if the colors were changed, people would care. Give me a break. I mean, you're kidding me, right? Because if a white person shoots a black person, well, nobody cares about that. There's no reaction nationwide. Oh, no.
that either of you would like to say to Abigail Zwerner?
First of all, I'd like to say that I'm glad you're doing better. I'm sorry that you got hurt. Just like I'm sorry that the kids in that classroom had to witness such a terrible incident. But
I'm sorry she got hurt. Like she stubbed her toe. Your kid shot her, which of course is white supremacism.
on the same token, I'm really sorry my great-grandson had to go through this ordeal.
I'm crazy. I'm the local one.
Just to show you how traumatized that kid was over the incident, we go to this news item. It states, Taylor's son told authorities he climbed onto a drawer to reach the top of a dresser where the weapon was in a purse. He concealed the gun in his backpack and then his pocket before shooting his teacher in front of the class, prosecutors said. Zwerner, who was the teacher, rushed her other students into the hallway before collapsing in the school's office. Moments later, the 6-year-old told a reading specialist who restrained him, "I shot that bitch dead, and I got my mom's gun last night," according to search warrants. Yeah, he's real traumatized. Of course, this incident has caused some trouble for the woke community. After all, the boy, who was black, shot a white teacher, so how are they going to extricate themselves from this one? Well, you already know the answer to that question, as you will see here. So here we go to Twitter. Colin Rugg, just in, the mom of the 6-year-old boy who brought a gun to school and shot his teacher, has been sentenced to prison. Okay, and she got a 2-year sentence. Deja Taylor's son took a gun to school and shot his teacher, Abigail Werner, back in January. After the shooting, the boy bragged to a school employee that he shot that bitch dead.
I did not drive Kyle to Kenosha.
And here we go. You're right. Why isn't Kyle Rittenhouse's mother not locked up? Or is she too light of a hue? Y'all be so pro-gun and pro-life until it's a black person. Good old Travis kicks in. And by the way, he's a very strong Kyle supporter out there. Salute to him. He's been pushing the good word for quite a while. He comes in. She isn't locked up because she had nothing to do with the gun. It was never in her state, let alone in her home. Of course. Don't believe me? The prosecutor said so in his opening statement, and you're wasting your time, Travis, because they will never understand that in a million years. Girl, these people only want justice when the offender is black. As long as the shooter is white, they will see no wrongdoing ever. So how come, by the way, don't say how come, you use the word why. So how come no charges were filed for Kyle Rittenhouse's mother? Didn't she buy him a gun that killed 2 people, which they brought over state lines? And the answer is no, she did nothing of the sort. We continue, and yes, Kyle's mother took him to the protest with the long gun. She bought him as a birthday gift. Okay. And this is a response to another post. They all have stupid parent. His mother took him there. They see themselves in everything Kyle, including number 4, uncaring mother. No, if there's one thing you can say about Wendy Rittenhouse is that she's actually a very caring mother. Kyle would have been alive if he never left his home. Okay, this is a cause-effect fallacy. The left, who pretend that they're the intellectual elite of social media, always rely on this bullshit. I mean, okay, the man at the gas station that filled their car, maybe if he hadn't done that, they wouldn't have been able to go to the protest. So it's his fault. That's the kind of reasoning that they're using here. It's so stupid, but oh well. What kind of loving mother drives her child into such a situation where they would need a gun? That gun didn't bring him anything but grief, which is equally on him and his mother. Maybe in a deplorable world, I would never ask my mother to drop me off with a rifle in my hands, somewhere that was none of my business and at my age. Maybe Susan, I don't know who they're talking about here, would drive her children with guns like Kyle's mother did. The mother should get manslaughter charges. Kyle has a mother who thought taking her underage son across state border with a gun to join a riot was a good idea. Not sure why she wasn't charged as an accessory. Wendy Rittenhouse committed no crimes whatsoever. As Whitney has been telling you,
I'm going to say my one time only. I did not drive Kyle to Kenosha. Because that's always, every time I flop it out, his mom drove him to Kenosha. They didn't watch the trial. I did not drive him.
Even the prosecution had stated that my mother did not drive Kyle.
She had nothing to do with Kyle being at the protest, nothing to do with Kyle having a gun. However you feel about Kyle Rittenhouse, leave his mother out of it. She's a sweet lady, very nice, very caring mother, and she had nothing to do with the Kenosha shootings. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.